Welcome, Peter and Scarlett. First
Thank you.
topic, Ursula von der Leyen's support for the European People's Party asylum processing plan and the removal of a call to scrap the EU ban on combustion engines. So, Peter, why does Ursula von der Leyen support offshore asylum processing, and how does this compare to UK's plan?
Well, the European People's Party is the biggest group in the European Parliament, and they had their big conference in Bucharest, in Romania, last week. And there, the Commission President Ursula von der Leyen was trying to convince them to get a second mandate after the end of this year, a second 5-year mandate. And of course, we all know that von der Leyen is quite left-wing and green, so there was a bit of a risk that her European People's Party would not support her. But she has made some minor, concessions to the right, so to speak. So she's now supporting the plan by the EPP to process asylum outside of the territory of the European Union, which is of course something that will break the back of human smuggling.
Why did the European People's Party change its manifesto about banning combustion engines, Peter?
Well, that's interesting. So they had indeed planned to scrap the ban on the combustion engine. There's a European Union ban to no longer allow these vehicles in practice from 2035 on, which may sound a long time from now, but it's really tomorrow in investment terms. The EPP is often portrayed as listening to the voters that are sick and tired of all this green experiments. But then in practice, you could see that they are actually, no longer trying to lift this ban. Why? Because it's of course politically very difficult to do it in the EU legislative process. Ideally, then they try to, swipe it under the carpet and hope that the problem will go away.
So, staying on the subject of Ursula von der Leyen, the code of conduct of commissioners explicitly prohibits the use of Commission's resources for activities linked to electoral campaigns. Can you explain how the recent publication by President von der Leyen aligns potentially conflicts with this regulation?
Yeah, well, what's happening at the moment is quite strange, to say the least. So, Ursula von der Leyen is officially not allowed to campaign, as she stated. So it's not like she's just putting posters out there, vote for me or anything, because people can't vote for her. But she's obviously still trying to get some momentum and showcase all of her achievements over the past 5 years. So we can definitely say that the document that she put out there is more or less propaganda.
So given the timing of the publication in relation to upcoming elections, how does the Commission justify the release of what some may perceive as a campaign document under President von der Leyen's leadership?
Well, I don't even think they really care about justification, because they just did it regardless of what the rules are. And it's not the first time we see that the European Commission is conducting actions that are not necessarily in line with what is allowed or not allowed. So they don't really care about justification, and that makes it so strange that she's putting a document out there which is basically propaganda. Imagine another world leader would have done that. You would have had all of the newspaper written on how it's propaganda. But apparently, if you're Ursula von der Leyen or you work for the European Commission, you get away with it.
Irish voters rejected proposed constitutional amendments on family and women's roles, highlighting a preservation of traditional values. Why do you think the majority of voters in Ireland rejected the proposed amendments to the constitution, Peter?
I think people were sending a strong signal to the Irish government. The Irish government that has been coming up with legislation banning hate speech, whatever that may mean, very vague. And now they were, proposing two changes to the Irish constitution that were also very vague, which in itself I think is very worrying. and these changes related to some mentioning of the family, and one of the passages in the Irish Constitution simply mentioned that women that voluntarily choose to stay at home to take care of the household there, that they are actually doing a very good thing for the community. So if you read the passage, I don't think it it implies any choice that that this is better than going out to work as a woman. But of course, the Irish government and many in the media portrayed this as outdated sexism, etc. So the whole referendum was about virtue signaling. And interestingly, almost all the Irish political parties were in favor of scrapping this passage in the Irish Constitution and replacing it with something very vague. But not less than 74% of Irish voters voted no against the proposal. So this is a big blow for the woke Irish government.
So these results, the outcome of the referendums, what does it suggest about the government's understanding of the public stance regarding this, Scarlett?
First of all, I want to compliment Ireland for the fact that they held a referendum on such a crucial topic, because we're not just talking about the role of women, we're talking about an identity, which is very crucial. And I wish other governments would take an example. Like in my own country, the Netherlands, they actually wanted to scrap the word mother from the person registry. So I think it's a very good thing that they give the people to decide on a topic that is so crucial. But to me, it obviously shows that the government is completely out of touch with what the real values of the society are. And I think it's good that the people of Ireland spoke out on it.
So European Central Bank employees protest against board members called to reprogram those who don't embrace climate change. Peter, can you tell us what's happened?
Well, I think it's quite remarkable that indeed, first of all, the European Central Bank thinks that it should be occupied with climate policy. I mean, it's a central bank. Their job should be to prevent inflation, to make sure that savings keep their value. It's very important in an economy and for people. But several people at the ECB, at the European Central Bank, do not think so. And one of them is the Dutch ECB board member Frank Elderson, who even said openly that people that work at the ECB and that are not signed up to the ECB's climate policy vision, that they should be quote-unquote reprogrammed. And this triggered the big protests of ECB workers. They sent a letter to the management of the institution complaining about this, calling it authoritarian. And separately, this should be seen as a deeper or sort of more testimony of deeper problems. At the European Central Bank, there was an opinion poll at the beginning of this year where a majority of ECB employees considered Christine Lagarde, the president of the central bank, to be incompetent. She's of course a political nominee. She's not even an economist. She's a lawyer. So yeah, this point at an institution that is very much on drift, I would say.
Thank you very much, Peter Kleppe and Scarlett Karoleva. And thank you for watching Riks Europe.